Hello, everyone, and welcome to this introductory slides for week 8. I choose to, this is around 5 minutes, and you are not responsible about it for exam or test, whatever, but it will help you map your thinking and studying while you are going through those models, credit risk models in week 7 and week 8. Let me share my screen so you can see what I want to talk about. So this is actually the slide. This is the introductory slide, and it is a summary for all models so you can see what we are talking about. As you can see, this is the credit risk framework, and as we said, we talk actually about credit scoring when we talk about single loan. This is why we are taking all these models. Some of the models talking about the selection risk, which is the credit scoring, which we talk about the probability models. We talked about the RORAC. We will talk in week 8 about the RORAC, about the mortality model. All of those models, which I will explain briefly in a while, is coming through the selection risk. Now, some of them, when we talk about selection risk, we talk about benchmarking, and we talk about credit scoring through the benchmarking. Now, when we go, we also talk, some of those models talk about the selection, and we talk about how much we should calculate for the premium, as we are going to talk in the RORAC, which means now we are talking about the pricing. When we talk about the premium, which means how much we are going to add as a premium over the free risk rate, which is our premium, and based on the premium and the free risk rate, when we add them up, it's the K or our charge for that model. Now, we also going to talk in week 8 about the second part, which is the portfolio. Portfolio has nothing to do with credit scoring. It just wants us to avoid what we call the intrinsic risk and the concentration risk. And this, we actually going to talk about it when we talk about the portfolio risk and week 8. Now, let me take, maybe this is the first time you see this. What I did here, I put all the models we have covered, and this is what we covered in week 7, as you can see, and we have finished that, all those. And you can see some of them are talking about individual loan risk. And they are either talking, and more, all of the models are business models, business loans. Business loans means we use it's coming from the commercial banking, and commercial banking means giving loans to those companies. And we use the balance sheet and the accounting numbers of the balance sheet to calculate the benchmark. We did this for the linear probability model. We did it for the logit model, which is to solve the problem of the probability model when we make it 0 and 1. And then we talk about the linear discriminant here, the Eltman. And we talked about the term structure, one problem. And we talked about the mortality deviation of credit risk. That was all in week 7. In week 8, we will talk about the new model, it's the RORAC, and we will talk about the term structure, but we will talk here about multi-period. Now, this one is, when we talk about here, we talk about one period, which means we have to calculate the probability of modeling for 1 year. Here, we calculate the probability of a payment or probability of defaulting for 2 years. So we call it multi-period. Multi-period. This is the multi-period. So which we cover it in week 8. And then we talk about the option model. And when we finish those blue fonts, we are actually done with all the models that is related to the individual risk, individual loan risk, as you can see here until we come to the individual risk. So you can see it's a business model, and we talk about what covers selection risk or the underwriting risk. Some of them talk about, when we talk about the selection risk, we are talking about the credit scoring, benchmarking, and here we talk, as I told you, about the pricing. So some of those models actually tell us how to price. Now, here we talk about the concentration risk, which is this part. This is the models of the portfolio risk. So this is, of course, we don't cover those models. These models, you can ignore them completely. We just cover 4 models. So this one, you can actually ignore as if they don't exist. I choose not to cover them at all. Okay, so it's only the green ones. So and these all actually, as you can see, they are these models, which is the green ones, are actually either low concentration risk, which means the portfolio risk is here. So I think this will give you, some understanding, because I choose to record this because there are so many models. I want you to map your mind while you are studying those ones, and you say, okay, I understand this, I need to see how did they do it and why they do it, and something like this. So for week 8, as you can see, we'll have 3 parts. Part 1 will cover the RORAC and the term structure. Part 1 will cover the RORAC only. Part 2 will cover these 2 parts, term structure and option models. And part 3 will talk about the migration, the concentration risk or the portfolio risk, which is the green ones. And we will add to them the management, which is the derivatives. That's all I want you to understand. And this slide, you are not required to memorize or do this, just to map your minds what we are doing. And this is the end of the recording for this end of the introductory. So the next one will be part 1, part 2, and part 3 for week 8. Thank you very much. And I will stop sharing here, and I will move to part 1. Thank you. Bye-bye for now.